guys, I'm Nicole and welcome to my channel. I hope it is not too loud coming through this video because I don't know, my birds are going crazy, my dog is barking and I can hear all these noises, but I'm really hoping that for you guys it's really not too loud. So I'm going to continue on and hopefully be able to talk about what I wanted to talk to you about today. It is April. It's awesome. I'm so happy that it's April, guys, that everything is greening up. It is just beautiful outside and we are just enjoying it. Our goats have had all their babies now, so that's been a blessing. Like, one last thing, something I do kind of worry about is, is everything gonna go okay? And I mean, it didn't go perfectly. We did have one stillborn baby goat, which was super sad. But overall, we had a good kidding season, and now I'm gearing up to be planting in my garden, and I'm just so excited. I love doing all of those things. We are also finishing up our homeschool year. I've talked about that here and there. We use a variety of different curriculums, but as far as like our main curriculum goes, we're using Master Books and Christian Light Education this year, and overall, we really liked it. I might do kind of like a recap video in a few weeks, or just, I don't know when, but just sometime soon, sharing some of the things that I liked, maybe some of the things I didn't like so much. But yeah, so we are nearing the end of the year, and a lot of times this is, I guess, a good time for me to start trying to increase our home library. And also, I love visiting the library itself. We haven't done that in a very long time. I don't even think we've done that since the pandemic started, so it's been a very long time without the library. But I have been consistent in trying to order books online and trying to bolster up our home library. I think that's a really good thing to do and to have prepared for the summer months, especially if you do take the summers off and you're a homeschooler. That way you have different resources for your kids to read during the summer, and sometimes you just, your kids might be bored and they need something to do, and you can always have books to send their way that they might be interested in, and then they can learn something new, and also they can increase their vocabulary and their spelling skills, just all those language art skills through the summer. And so that's something that I really like to do. I guess maybe, 7 years or so ago, I used to go to Goodwill a good bit. It was a good place for me to find clothing from time to time, and especially things like books. But since we've done like lots of moving and just all different places, I haven't really gone to a Goodwill since we lived, goodness, a couple houses ago. I grew up in this one area basically all of my life, and that's where we still lived, and I was just very familiar with it, and I was familiar with the Goodwills around there, and I would visit them often, but I haven't since then, so it's been a long time. But over the weekend, I actually asked my husband if we could take a moment to stop into a Goodwill so I can look for some books, because I really, summer's coming up and I really wanted to try to find a few things at a really good, affordable price. I love finding things, with good deals. I don't know, that's something, it's almost like a game to me that I started doing when we tried to get out of debt a couple years ago, and it's just to make it fun. I made it a game. I just tried to see how much money I could save and, all of those types of things. And it was really fun, and it helped me, and it did help us get out of debt pretty quickly. It took years, pretty quickly, but for the amount of debt, pretty quickly, and all glory to God for that. He just helped us so much with all of that. But anyhow, so this weekend we went to a Goodwill, and I looked at the children's book section, and I was very grateful because the children's books were 50 cents each. And so I would really highly recommend looking at Goodwill or thrift stores if you have a good thrift store in your area for books, because sometimes you can find fabulous deals, and then you can add them to your home library for your kids to enjoy, whether you homeschool or not. I mean, it's just a great thing to do as far as getting books into your home. So I wanted to share those books that I purchased with you guys, and these were all 50 cents each. The first one was this Animal Ark Dog at the Door book, and I bought this with my, my 10-year-old and my 8-year-old in mind. They are both girls, and they like these types of books, these beginning chapter books. I'm trying to encourage them to start, reading those types of books more often, and so I thought this would be a good little book to have for them to read over the summer. I purchased this book called The Home Builders, and this actually I think was from like the Dolly Parton Imagination Library program or something like that. But it was 50 cents, so it's really a sweet book with all of these little pictures of different animals and the homes they build. And I really I kind of had my eye out for nature books in particular. Because I don't know, we spend a lot of time outdoors in the summer, and I thought it would be fun. I could just imagine my kids bringing a book outside to read and it being about nature and them sitting in nature, and I thought that would just be a really nice activity for them to do. So I got that one. I also got this book called Frogs, Toads, and Tree Frogs, a complete pet owner's manual. We do not have any of these pets, but my kids really love frogs and toads. Several of them do. And so it's just a fun little book, for them to learn something new. This, I kind of had my 10 and 13-year-old in mind when I purchased this one. But, it's for anybody that really wants to, learn a little bit about frogs and toads. And so, again, I was thinking nature, books that could be, helpful as far as those types of things. I got this book called Play With Me. It's a Caldecott honor book. And so just one of those types of books that's good to have. I like these types of books too, like more classic type books. I'm always looking for these types of books as well to have, in our library. This one is one of those, I think, Dolly Parton Imagination Library books as well, which, like I said, I know that probably the person who originally had this book had it for free because it was part of that Dolly Parton program, but, I don't mind spending 50 cents to pay for it and put it in our library. I think is a good thing to do, and I'm very happy to do it. I also got this book called Wonders of the Forest. Again, just something I can imagine us taking outside and reading during the summertime, and really happy about that one. And let's see here, this one I got just because several of my kids really love dogs. This one is called Alaska's Dog Heroes, and it's a sweet book. I mean, it talks about these different dogs and the way they were heroic. And so, yeah, a lot of my kids love dogs and love animals in general. And so I kind of had my eye out for those types of books too, if I could find anything like that. And again, it was 50 cents. I think I spent $7 on all of these books. And then I also have one that I think somebody's already taken. And so it's not here in this stack. And this is an erosion and weathering book. Again, this is like a nonfiction book, not really a nature. Well, I mean, it's a nature book, but not really a nature book as in like the nature surrounding our immediate home. When I'm thinking nature, a lot of times I'm thinking about books about the trees and the rocks and the animals that are like actually on our property that and the plants that the kids can learn about, that type of thing. But this one's a little different than that, but it's still a very good nonfiction book for us to have in our library. And then I also got this book called Jump Frog Jump. I thought it would be fun for my 3-year-old, for me just to read aloud to him about frogs. And finally, I got this copy of A Little Engine That Could for 50 cents. So, I mean, you can't beat that. Again, just one of those classic books that you like to have in your library. And so I was really excited about all of those things. My 3-year-old he's outgrowing this a little bit, but he was in this phase where he just wanted to destroy books. He would rip out the pages, and so it was discouraging to me. And most of our books are actually now in our basement, and Lord willing, when we finish it, I'll be able to put together like more of a little library. They're just on some bookshelves down there, and we'll have more space to have more of an actual library. A couple of houses ago, I did have an actual library, and it was wonderful. I guess we called it the office, but it had a lot of built-in bookshelves on 2 of the walls, and it was like that when we moved in, and they were all the way to the ceiling, and it was a high ceiling. I think they were 10-foot ceilings, and I had just all the space in the world, it seemed like to me, to store books. But since that house, I have not had that, and we have kept them in boxes, and we have just put them wherever we could put them. And we've actually gotten rid of a good bit of them. A couple well, not really, I guess a couple houses ago, we had a problem where I had all these books in boxes, and they were in a garage, and mice got into them. They were just in cardboard boxes, and I was so disappointed because I did lose a lot of my books that way. And so far this time around here, we have not had that problem, and I'm more careful with how I store books and things in general. I lost all kinds of stuff to those mice, and that was very, very disappointing. I've learned to not really keep things in cardboard boxes at all if I want them to last, you know, for any amount of time, especially if they're in like a basement, a garage, or something like that. I do also purchase books from time to time off of Amazon. This is usually the time of year I might be doing that more so, like I said, just because summer is coming up and it's a good time to just increase our library. And so I did purchase one book this week. I wanted to share that one with you too. It's just a little inexpensive book called Biscuits Earth Day Celebration. And Earth Day is coming up. I think it's probably just passed by the time this video posts to YouTube. But I thought this was just a sweet little book about Earth Day, any kind of holidays, stuff like that. I like to have a few books on hand for that. And we've never done anything like that for Earth Day. But for Earth Day this year, I think we are going to plant some things, read this book. I don't know, we might do a few things about recycling. I'm not sure, but I just thought that would be a fun opportunity to have a little bit of learning, I guess, involved too for that little day, for Earth Day. And goodness, we are almost done. And I think by the end of the week, by Earth Day, I will be pretty much done with my younger kids, which is really cool. We're gonna switch over into summer mode. Some of my older kids still have a little bit more to do, but a lot of that type of thing I'm more hands off with, and they're really independent learners, which is awesome. So I'm excited about all of those things. But anyhow, I would definitely recommend checking out Goodwill if you have one around, because you never know what you can find. A lot of times you will find all kinds of cool things. So yeah, just something you never know. And I mean, it's always changing. That's kind of fun. It's like the thrill of the hunt. Something fun to do that's inexpensive if you're wanting to increase your kids' library. But anyhow, thank you guys so much for stopping in with me today, and I will talk with you soon.